Some homes feel dark and heavy even during the brightest hours of the day, while others seem to glow with calm, clarity, and quiet energy no matter the season. And the difference has very little to do with windows, size, or decoration style. In Japanese minimalism, light is not treated as something purely physical, but as a form of energy that shapes mood, thoughts, and emotional balance. And when light is invited intentionally, the entire home begins to feel more alive and supportive. In this video, you are going to discover why light is one of the most powerful tools for transformation, how Japanese homes use light to restore mental clarity and emotional ease, and how simple changes can make your space feel lighter without renovation or expense. Before we continue, I'd like to ask you something. Tell me which country and city you're watching from. I'd love to know and leave you a heart. And don't forget to subscribe and help me reach the goal of 1,000 likes. Now let us begin with the first Japanese way, because this one alone can immediately change how your home feels today. The first Japanese way to bring light and energy into your home is clearing the path for light to travel freely. In Japanese living, light is respected as something that must be allowed to move, not blocked or trapped. Heavy furniture in front of windows, overcrowded sills, dark curtains, or cluttered corners interrupt this flow. When light cannot move, energy feels stagnant. A practical step is to look at your windows and notice what blocks them. Removing just one obstacle can instantly brighten a room and lift your mood. The second Japanese way is softening how light enters the space. Japanese homes rarely rely on harsh direct light. Instead, they use sheer curtains, light fabrics, or diffuse surfaces to spread light gently. This creates a calm, even glow that relaxes the nervous system. Harsh light can stimulate alertness and tension, while soft light encourages ease and presence. Adjusting how light enters is often more important than increasing brightness. The third way is honoring morning light. Japanese living values morning light as a signal of renewal. Opening curtains early, even briefly, allows fresh energy to reset the space. This habit aligns the home with natural rhythm and helps regulate mood throughout the day. Many women notice improved motivation and emotional balance simply by welcoming morning light consistently. The fourth way is reducing visual heaviness. Dark clutter absorbs light emotionally. Too many objects, especially in darker colors, make rooms feel smaller and heavier. Japanese minimalism balances darker elements with open space and lighter tones, so light can reflect and expand. Removing excess items allows light to reach more surfaces, increasing both brightness and emotional clarity. The fifth way is using reflective calm surfaces intentionally. Japanese homes use light-reflecting elements sparingly, such as light walls, simple mirrors, or smooth, natural materials. Reflection spreads light without creating stimulation. Mirrors are placed carefully, not to multiply clutter, but to amplify calm. This increases brightness without chaos. The sixth way is creating light-focused zones. Instead of lighting everything equally, Japanese living highlights specific calm areas, such as a reading corner or dining space. This creates warmth and purpose. Focused light feels nurturing and intentional, increasing positive energy. The seventh way is respecting shadow. Japanese minimalism understands that light needs shadow to feel balanced. Not every corner must be bright. Soft shadow creates depth and calm. When light and shadow coexist gently, the home feels natural rather than forced. And in the next part, we will explore how these Japanese ways affect emotional energy, explaining why brighter homes often feel calmer, and how light influences thoughts, motivation, and inner peace more deeply than you may expect. Light inside a home does much more than illuminate objects. It directly influences emotional energy, motivation, and mental clarity. And this is why Japanese minimalism treats light as a daily emotional regulator rather than a decorative detail. When light is balanced and intentional, the nervous system feels safer, thoughts slow down, and energy begins to flow more smoothly. Many women feel tired, unmotivated, or mentally heavy, not because of age or lack of purpose, but because their environment does not support emotional renewal. Japanese living addresses this quietly by aligning light with how the body and mind naturally function. One important Japanese way is aligning light with daily rhythm. Bright, natural light is welcomed in the morning and early afternoon to stimulate alertness and positivity. As the day progresses, light is softened to prepare the body for rest. This gradual transition prevents emotional crashes and evening anxiety. A practical step is to avoid harsh lighting at night and allow your home to grow calmer as the sun sets. Another key principle is reducing visual contrast created by light. Strong contrasts between bright and dark areas can overstimulate the brain. Japanese homes aim for gentle transitions, allowing light to spread evenly. This creates emotional continuity and reduces mental tension. You can apply this by using softer bulbs or adjusting lamps to avoid sharp shadows. Another powerful Japanese approach is light as invitation rather than command. Instead of forcing brightness everywhere, light is placed where life happens. This makes spaces feel welcoming. When light gently invites you to sit, read, or rest, energy feels supportive rather than demanding. This increases emotional comfort without effort. Another way light influences energy is through cleanliness and clarity. Light reveals clutter, dust, and chaos. Japanese minimalism understands this and responds not by hiding light, but by simplifying the environment. When light touches clean, calm surfaces, it reflects peace. This creates emotional ease because the mind does not feel overwhelmed by visual information. Another important aspect is emotional symbolism. Light represents openness, honesty, and renewal. When you allow light into your home daily, you symbolically allow clarity into your life. This simple habit can shift emotional patterns over time. Many women notice that brighter homes feel more hopeful and less emotionally heavy. Japanese living values this symbolism deeply. Another Japanese way is avoiding emotional darkness created by neglected areas. Rooms or corners that remain dark often hold stagnant energy. Japanese homes address this by gently illuminating neglected spaces or simplifying them so light can enter. This creates emotional completion. A home where all areas are acknowledged feels emotionally safe. Another subtle practice is respecting how light interacts with materials. Natural materials absorb and reflect light softly, while synthetic surfaces can create glare. Japanese minimalism favors materials that interact gently with light, creating warmth instead of stimulation. This supports emotional regulation. Another way light affects energy is through consistency. Japanese homes avoid constantly changing lighting setups. Predictable lighting helps the nervous system relax. When your environment behaves consistently, your emotions stabilize. This is especially helpful during stressful periods. The deeper impact of these practices is emotional alignment. When light supports your natural rhythm, your energy becomes steadier. You feel less drained and more present. Light stops being something you manage and becomes something that supports you. In the next part, we will explore Japanese ways to amplify light through layout, color, and placement, revealing how small adjustments can dramatically change how open, energized, and calm your home feels. Light and energy inside a home are shaped not only by windows or lamps, but by how space, color, and placement work together. And this is where Japanese minimalism becomes especially practical, because it shows how small adjustments can dramatically change how open, alive, and calm a home feels without major effort. One essential Japanese way to amplify light is simplifying layout. When furniture is placed without intention, light gets blocked, trapped, or scattered unevenly. Japanese homes prioritize open pathways and clear sightlines, so light can travel naturally from one area to another. A practical step is to notice where light stops. If a piece of furniture interrupts brightness or creates a dark pocket, shifting it slightly can immediately lift the energy of the room. Another important way is using light-friendly colors. Japanese minimalism favors soft, natural tones because they reflect light gently instead of absorbing it. Warm whites, light beiges, and muted earth tones help spread brightness evenly. This does not mean everything must be white, but darker colors are used sparingly and intentionally. When light can bounce softly across surfaces, rooms feel larger and emotionally lighter. Another Japanese approach is reducing visual weight. Heavy furniture, oversized decor, or dense arrangements make spaces feel darker even in daylight. Japanese interiors feel bright because visual weight is distributed evenly. Lower furniture, open legs, and simple forms allow light to move freely underneath and around objects. This creates a sense of openness that supports calm energy. Another effective way is intentional wall use. Japanese homes often keep walls simple, allowing them to act as light reflectors rather than visual distractions. Too many frames, shelves, or decorations break the flow of light. Choosing one or two meaningful pieces instead of many allows walls to remain calm and bright. This reduces mental noise and increases clarity. Another important method is mirror placement with care. Japanese minimalism uses mirrors to amplify light, not clutter. Mirrors are placed where they reflect windows, natural light, or calm surfaces. They are not placed where they multiply chaos. This intentional reflection increases brightness while maintaining harmony. Another Japanese way is simplifying corners. Corners often collect clutter and shadow. Japanese living keeps corners open or lightly furnished so light can reach them. When corners are calm, the entire room feels more balanced. This also reduces emotional heaviness because the mind senses completeness. Another powerful adjustment is respecting ceiling space. Overcrowded ceilings or hanging items can create a sense of pressure. Japanese interiors often leave ceilings visually clean, allowing light to rise and spread. This creates an airy feeling that supports energy and openness. Another subtle but important way is choosing light-friendly materials. Natural fabrics, wood, and matte surfaces interact with light softly. Glossy or synthetic surfaces can create harsh reflections that stimulate the nervous system. Japanese minimalism prefers materials that glow gently rather than shine aggressively. Another practical way is aligning furniture with light sources. Seating areas, workspaces, and resting spots are placed where natural light supports their function. This reduces the need for artificial lighting and increases comfort. When you sit in good light, your energy improves naturally. The deeper effect of these layout and color choices is emotional expansion. When your home feels open and bright, your thoughts follow the same pattern. You feel less confined and more hopeful. Light becomes something that supports your daily life instead of something you fight against. In the next part, we will explore Japanese ways to maintain this brightness long-term, explaining how daily habits, routines, and awareness prevent darkness and stagnation from slowly returning to your space. Bringing light and energy into a home is not a one-time adjustment, but a living process supported by daily habits. And this fourth part reveals Japanese ways to maintain brightness and vitality through simple routines that quietly protect your emotional and physical well-being. In Japanese minimalism, light is treated as something that must be welcomed every day, not assumed. One essential way is the habit of daily opening. Japanese homes are aired and opened each morning, even briefly, to invite fresh light and energy. This small act signals renewal and clears emotional stagnation. Opening curtains, windows, or doors for a few minutes resets the atmosphere and helps the body align with the new day. Another important way is morning clearing. Japanese living encourages removing small obstacles that block light early in the day. This may mean moving an item away from a window, wiping a surface, or adjusting a curtain. These micro-actions take little time, but prevent light from being gradually lost to clutter. Another key habit is conscious use of artificial light. Japanese homes avoid leaving lights on unnecessarily during the day. Artificial light is used intentionally, not automatically. This keeps the home connected to natural rhythm and prevents visual fatigue. In the evening, lights are softened gradually, allowing energy to shift from activity to rest. This transition supports emotional balance. Another Japanese way is routine surface resetting. Surfaces that reflect light, such as tables or counters, are kept calm and clear. When reflective surfaces are cluttered, light becomes scattered and chaotic. Clearing them regularly allows light to spread evenly, increasing brightness and clarity. Another sustaining habit is seasonal adjustment. Japanese minimalism adapts light usage based on seasons. In darker months, light is layered gently through lamps and warm tones. In brighter months, natural light is maximized and artificial light is reduced. This flexibility keeps energy balanced year-round. Another powerful practice is respecting shadow intentionally. Japanese homes do not chase constant brightness. Some areas are allowed to remain softly shaded, creating contrast that makes light feel meaningful. This prevents overstimulation and keeps energy grounded. Light that is balanced feels calming rather than overwhelming. Another important way is emotional awareness of light. Japanese living recognizes that emotional heaviness can block perception of brightness. When a home feels dark despite light, it is often carrying unresolved clutter or emotional weight. Addressing neglected areas, both physically and emotionally, restores brightness naturally. Another sustaining habit is simplifying before adding light. Instead of adding more lamps, Japanese minimalism asks what can be removed so existing light can work better. Removing excess furniture, heavy decor, or dark objects often brightens a space more effectively than adding light sources. Another subtle practice is evening reflection. At the end of the day, Japanese households often dim lights and restore order gently. This signals closure and protects energy from lingering restlessness. When the home settles, the body follows. The deeper impact of these habits is emotional consistency. When light is maintained daily, energy remains stable. You feel less drained and more supported. Your home becomes emotionally predictable, which is deeply calming to the nervous system. And in the next part, we will explore Japanese ways to protect light and energy from emotional clutter, explaining how thoughts, habits, and objects can quietly darken a space and how to prevent that from happening. Light and energy inside a home are not lost suddenly. They fade slowly when emotional clutter, habits, and unconscious patterns begin to occupy space. And this fifth part explores Japanese ways to protect brightness by addressing what quietly dims a home over time. In Japanese minimalism, darkness is rarely blamed on lack of light, but on accumulation of objects, thoughts, unfinished matters, and emotional residue. One essential Japanese way to protect light is limiting emotional storage. Objects connected to guilt, obligation, or unresolved situations are not kept in constant view. This does not mean rejecting memories, but respecting boundaries. When emotionally heavy items remain visible, they absorb attention and dull energy. Japanese living encourages storing or releasing these items so light can remain dominant in daily spaces. Another important way is preventing visual overcrowding. Even light-filled rooms can feel heavy when surfaces are crowded. Japanese homes protect light by keeping visual fields open. This allows brightness to spread evenly instead of being fragmented. A practical habit is choosing one surface per room to remain mostly clear at all times. This single decision can dramatically preserve a feeling of openness. Another Japanese approach is conscious object rotation. Instead of keeping everything visible year-round, Japanese minimalism allows objects to rest. Decorative items, books, or accessories are rotated seasonally. This prevents visual fatigue and allows light to interact with fewer elements at once. Each object feels more meaningful, and the space feels refreshed without adding anything new. Another powerful way is addressing neglected zones. Areas that are rarely used or ignored often become energy sinks. Japanese living gently brings light to these spaces by simplifying them, cleaning them, or changing their function. When no part of the home feels abandoned, energy flows more evenly. A home that feels complete feels brighter emotionally. Another key practice is managing emotional noise. Japanese minimalism understands that constant information, sound, and stimulation can dim perception of light. Reducing background noise, limiting unnecessary media, and creating moments of quiet allow light to be felt more fully. When the mind is less cluttered, brightness feels stronger. Another way to protect light is through mindful endings. Unfinished tasks, open loops, and unresolved projects create subtle tension. Japanese living encourages closing small loops daily, returning items, completing minor tasks, or consciously pausing unfinished work. This clears emotional residue that can darken a space. Another sustaining habit is respecting rest. Overactivity and exhaustion reduce sensitivity to light and energy. Japanese homes support rest through calm routines and predictable environments. When rest is protected, light feels more nourishing rather than overwhelming. Another important way is limiting dark anchors. Dark anchors are objects or arrangements that visually weigh down a room, such as overly dark furniture clusters or heavy decor placed without balance. Japanese minimalism balances these elements with space and lighter tones so energy does not sink. Another subtle practice is gratitude awareness. Japanese living often includes quiet acknowledgement of the home. Gratitude changes perception. When you value your space, you notice its brightness more easily. This emotional shift protects energy without physical changes. The deeper lesson in these practices is that light is not only physical, it is perceptual. When emotional clutter is reduced, light feels stronger even if nothing changes structurally. A home that protects its light supports optimism, clarity, and calm. And in the final part, we will bring all 7 Japanese ways together, showing how light and energy can become a natural state of your home, and how living this way can quietly transform your mood, motivation, and sense of peace every day. When all 7 Japanese ways are practiced together, light and energy stop feeling like something you chase and start becoming the natural state of your home because nothing is blocking them anymore. Clearing paths allows light to move freely and removes resistance from daily life. Softening how light enters protects your nervous system from overstimulation. Honoring morning light resets emotional energy and aligns the home with natural rhythm. Reducing visual heaviness allows brightness to expand instead of being absorbed by clutter. Using reflective surfaces with intention spreads light calmly without chaos. Creating focused light zones gives warmth and purpose to everyday moments. And respecting shadow keeps the home balanced, grounded, and emotionally comfortable. Together, these ways create a space that feels open, alive, and supportive without effort. What Japanese minimalism teaches is that light is not increased by force, but by removal. When excess is released, clarity appears. When resistance is removed, energy flows. This is why homes that follow these principles feel calm even on difficult days. They do not fight life, they support it. Many women notice that when their homes become brighter in this way, their thoughts follow the same pattern. Mental fog lifts. Motivation returns gently. Emotional heaviness feels less permanent. This is not because the home is perfect, but because it is aligned with how the body and mind naturally function. Light affects hormones, mood, and perception. When your environment consistently welcomes light, your inner world learns to do the same. Another powerful aspect of these Japanese ways is that they protect energy without demanding constant attention. Once light can move freely, it maintains itself through simple habits. Opening windows, clearing one surface, adjusting a curtain, or choosing softness over excess becomes second nature. These actions require no discipline, only awareness. And awareness grows naturally when your home begins to feel better. Over time, your relationship with your space changes. You stop seeing it as something to manage and start experiencing it as something that supports you. This shift is especially meaningful in later stages of life, when comfort, clarity, and emotional stability become more important than accumulation or display. A bright home becomes a quiet ally. It welcomes you back, restores your energy, and helps you let go of the outside world at the end of the day. Bringing light into your home does not require renovation or expense. It requires intention. It requires noticing where energy feels blocked and gently removing what no longer serves. Start small, choose one room or one window, clear one obstacle, soften one light. Observe how your body responds. Let that feeling guide you forward. Japanese minimalism is not about rules, but about listening, and when you listen to your space, it begins to respond. If this video helped you see your home differently, I invite you to subscribe and share it with someone who may be feeling heavy, tired, or overwhelmed. By sharing, you pass along clarity and calm. By subscribing, you join a community that values light, intention, and peaceful living. Your home can radiate light and energy every day, not because it tries to impress, but because it allows what is natural to flow freely, creating space for calm, renewal, and quiet strength.